the next topic today is on More to Story podcast with Rocsi Diaz. She was interviewing Julissa Bermudez, and both of them was a former, I'll say, 106 in Park host. So one
And
of the things they
also,
were talking, huh?
and also King Magazine Centerfolds.
Yeah, that too. King Centerfolds also. So one of
Dime,
the
don't forget Dime.
oh dime and what else? What else, Stan?
I plead the fifth. I'll stop.
All right, all right. So one of the topic of the podcast, they was talking about their biggest regrets around marriage, kids, and especially Latin culture. So let me go ahead. Let me play the clip because I think one of the things, especially in Latin culture, they supposed to be married, spit out some kids
Mm-hmm.
kind of early and stuff. So, them being in the industry, kind of, having some success. I think they're like talking about the pressures that kind of come with them not having kids at their age. Because I think Roski, she's 43, and the other female that's in there, she's 41. So they at that age limit. So I guess their family putting that pressure, like, yo, what the fuck's going on with y'all?
Wait, so the one sitting on the couch, what's her name again?
Rocsi Diaz,
Oh,
and
okay.
the other one's Julissa Bermudez.
Okay.
Speaking of things that don't matter, that we put a lot of emphasis on back then, was the idea of having children on television back then. And then now it's okay to be a mom. Thanks, Cardi. It's okay to be a mom on TV and, have kids and have a life, which was not even talked about or discussed during our tenure back then. Is it something that you regret?
Not having kids?
Not having kids yet, or not maybe like having settled down already by now?
So when it comes to that, I gotta be honest, I'm a little delulu, as they say. I really am. I still am. I'm 40 years old now, and one day I wake up when I see all of my friends' beautiful kids, and I think I show up as best as I can as an auntie. But yeah, some days I really do feel like, is that a missing piece of the puzzle? And then other days I feel completely complete, and that's okay too. And I really don't want to fall into the, and then you get the comments too. Yeah. It's like, girl, what's wrong with you? You're at this age and you don't have a man and you don't got kids. Like there must be something wrong with you. It's like, well, maybe I don't show that aspect of my life because I don't.
So based on what she said, is something wrong with her? Or is that just like the new norm? Just like having kids at a later age or settling down, chase a career?
Anthony, you want to go first? Because then I'll bring the Afro-Latino perspective.
I mean, like, in general, like, I feel like most women are biologically wired to want to bear children. You know what I mean? And even if like they don't have kids, it is something about them, like, because the way how the culture is, the way how society shames them if you don't have children, or shames them if they do have children. No matter what, it's like they always gonna feel like nothing's ever enough unless they're complete with a child, complete with a husband, complete with a white picket fence and a goddamn dog. But I don't know. When it comes to like the children, they feel like it's like a pride and joy, like a badge of honor to have.
All right, go ahead, Stan.
I think if you look at it, like if you're a second generation or third generation, you find out you have options, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to follow how like my parents or the grandparents and what they've done. You're like, okay, I can take my time and I can pick. Because like sometimes me and my sister, we joke about it. Like if we did marry the way our father want us to, is like marry Latin. My sister's like, y'all would have 6 kids. I'm like, y'all probably had 10. And in-laws in my house. And I'm just like, as soon as I come in from work, I'm running to the master bedroom and locking the door. But like I know, I get it. Like you want the house full and family and everything else. But like I know for me, I was like growing up. I remember my aunt. My mother thought I was leaving the house, but I was putting stuff in storage, and my aunt was like, "Well, look at your cousins. They haven't left the house." And I'm just looking. I'm like, my cousins are my cousins, male cousins were like staying at home with their mothers, with their children and grandchildren. And I remember I told this to my therapist. My therapist asked me, "So what did you thought?" I'm like, "Look, I ain't trying to live in no charm. I ain't trying to be like me and my siblings living together with the grandkids and everything like charmed, right? Everybody stay in the house.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to do this. Like, I want to have space, but like, you have to own it." But that's what I don't like about these talks sometimes. These talks where they're all like talking to each other, it's kind of like everybody's covering everybody's wound, but there's no healing. And like, yeah, people could agree with it, but there's no honesty in it. Like the honesty part about it, like when she said, like, I'm coming in as an auntie, like, yo, you also had opportunities with a lot of great guys that you didn't want to pick. Like
Oh, okay.
these women are not your average Latinas. They had, you know what I'm saying? They had a lot of pick. A lot. Rich men, black, Latin, and white.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, because yeah, just even being aligned with like celebs and stuff from their job and stuff. It's like, yeah, they definitely came across a lot of people. So I think people just play that dating market too long, man. It's just that thrill of like, I'm gonna wait a little longer, see if I can do a
Yeah,
little better, and then before you know it, man, you waking up, you in your 40s, you're like, oh shit.
yeah. And here's a danger in this, right? I don't want like everybody's watching this and thinking they're like them or Melissa Ford. No, you did not have the opportunities that they did. Although some of us probably had, right? Some of you ladies probably have. But in all realistically, right? They had that top 1% they could have just picked. So I don't want women thinking like I'm just like them and I don't need nobody.
Yeah,
And
nah, you're not.
it's that copy and paste culture. We have to get out of that. And I understand these talks are like important, but
Mhm.
unlike when it's us guys and we're talking, like we'll get wisdoms from you, like from you M3, like you just like if you're starting again in your life. From you SJ, you've been in a relationship, you know how it is. From D's coming in like, hey, this is how you got to make sure love will last forever and ever. You know what I'm saying? And
Shout out to Dame.
you know what I'm saying? 84 will come in and like, yo, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. But like that stuff helps, right? But these talk that happens, I think they're more dangerous than helpful for
No,
women.
that's a good point, Stan.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like when we all do talk, man, we'll challenge each other too, man. Everybody will have their own different viewpoints. We'll get pushback.
Yes.
We'll be genuine. Our boy M3, he'll tell the most vulnerable stories and have us rolling. But it does seem with them like it's just like they can't admit certain things, and I think some of them, it's just like, man, if y'all do want to help other females, it's all right to be like, you know what, I did fuck up. I dated. I thought I would have more years and stuff, and I do regret some shit. Because I was just gonna ask. I'm like, damn, people can't multitask. Like you can
Yeah.
still have a family and still be successful and shit. It just cracks me up sometimes when people just think, man, they can't do anything else. Like it's like I just got to focus on career. It's like, man, you could find a nice guy that would be understanding of like you have a career and stuff like that if you treat them right and stuff like that. So yeah, I wonder how their psyche just works, where they just think like I can only do one thing.
Yeah, because
But
like I understand it's Hollywood, right? But at one point, do you really need to go to every party?
yeah,
Mm.
Do you really need to go to every party? Do you need to go to every event? Do you really need to go to Coachella? Like you have a child. There's so many people in Hollywood that have children now, and especially women. It's a lot. So it's like, yo, like there's so many blueprints to follow.
yeah. I
It's
was
like,
looking at Eva Mendes, and she was talking about why she like left the industry, and it was pretty much like she just started like investing her money. She was like, look, I made a lot of money, but I invested it so that way I could stay with my kids. And Jessica Alba started that whole company where She
Yes.
made all that money, so she stayed with her kids and stuff, and now she's back in movies, I guess, now that they're at a certain age and stuff. So yeah, there's, like you said, there's a lot of examples. It's like, man, you do real estate, but it's just like, I think some people, just like you said, Stan, want to stay at a party scene and all that versus like look at different business ventures, because I was like, hey man, I'm not going to be like young forever. Let me start planning ahead, so that way I don't have to,
Yeah.
I can have my family too, and still be like a business mogul, and have that stability and stuff.
Yeah. I just don't want these talks to continue in the year 2025 and everybody again is going to be still and not move and not be honest.
But I think that's the good thing, like what we were talking about even in the other video, where it's just like, people look at it as bashing, but it's like, nah, I think sometimes you got to take that conversation and you got to start expanding on it.
Yeah.
Then somebody else might take our conversation, expand on it. They'll be like, hey, these guys are some fucking idiots, but hey, let's talk about this,
Right.
But it's just like, nah, it's a continuation. So people could like start dissecting things and talking about it, because it's just like, yeah, you can't have everything. But it's just like, if you plan, then you could like have things at different stages in your life, man, where you're not scrambling and playing catch up. Because I think the worst part where, like you said, man, definitely pretty chicks had a lot of suitors, but it's just now that they're at this age, and men that they typically want are older and, just not mesmerized or infatuated by women at that point. Because it's like, you don't have enough experience where you're calmed down. They're probably
Also,
not being pursued and chased like the way that they want to. So that's the issue
and
from the
also,
guys that they want.
also the guys that they had have moved on and had their own family.
Oh yeah, that too. Cause yeah, I think like when people be going back, they start looking at them dudes that they was with. They have their kids and stuff. They happy. It's like, God, I can't say that he was a bad guy and he was a marriage material if he got a whole family over there, been married like 10 years. I can't use that excuse.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I just want to say. Like, and they were great. Like I remember them, like the '90s and 2000s. Like I just want like if you have access, you do with dating. You have to. I don't like that word settle, but you have to pick and choose and write it out.
Yeah, it's like you finally got to commit to something. It's like, man, damn, this person, you can't shoot for perfection. I think that's the issue. It's like, man, this person got a lot of attributes, man. They rocking with me. I'm getting with them. Like you said, it ain't settling. It's just like you making a wise decision.
Yeah.
Versus like basing it off your emotions. But let me play the rest of this video because there's still some time on there.
Mm-hmm. I really haven't shown that part on my social media, and I don't really think people care that much.
Right.
But besides the few comments, and also I don't want to go down that rabbit hole of thinking that my life is not going to be complete if I don't have kids and this and that and
Mm-hmm.
the family and the dog and the whole thing.
Well, I want to know more about. You were close though. Really close at one time.
Yes,
you dodged,
was close.
I don't know if you would call it dodging the bullet.
Yeah, I would say that. Okay. Which, by the way, that feels like a lifetime ago. Okay. I was engaged at 24 years old. And I think I even forget sometimes. I swear, Roxy, is like so long ago.
Looking back at it then, knowing now, would that have been the best decision for you? And how much would your life have changed had you said yes or went through with that marriage at 24? And do you think that it's actually better to wait as a woman, to wait later in life to decide whether you want marriage and kids?
Well, I certainly would say, kids are a miracle. We know this. So the timing, I don't think is ever going to be right. And from the friends that I have that do have kids, they'll tell you. Mm-hmm. But my life would have been completely different. I don't think that I would look as youthful as I look. I consider myself to look pretty good for my age. I don't know if that would have been the case because in retrospect, you don't know what you don't know. And I think with age, I've just acquired way more information, not just information, but about myself. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the things that if I were the day of tomorrow have a child, like the things that I would be teaching that child now versus back then, oh man, the level of growth is, you can't even compare.
Do you have any regrets? Something that you wish you would have done or had taken?
I got so much to say, but I'll let M3 go first.
I mean, I don't really have too much to say. Just that I just feel like when people always try to find a way to justify their mistakes. If we want to count that as a mistake, not having children, and then they mask it, be like, "Well, I'm more youthful now and very energetic. Life is great," but then you don't really. Your body language speaks otherwise. She's not happy.
Yeah, I think, man, I wish people would just be like, look, man, I'm self-centered. Shit's all about me. God damn it. Fuck these
That's
kids.
what it sounds like, right?
Yeah, because it's just like, man, you can still look good and have man, you ain't gotta have a ton of kids, man. Like, you can have a couple that still work out and shit. That's what I'm saying. It's almost in people's mind, like, I can't multitask and do different things. So, like you said, for her to put it like that, and just going back where she was talking about dodging the bullet, I thought that was kind of weird. It's just like, who the fuck did you choose at that point where you talk about dodging the bullet? Like,
right.
Let's look it up. Let's look it up and see who this person was, and see what that man is at. Because you know what, this is what I love about Hallmark. Hallmark has movies like this where if you would have picked that person and gotten married early and would have children, versus like you going off and having this career in corporate America and you still alone. And they always have those, but at the end of all those movies, every last one of them, she wants the family. And that's the part where you're again that not honest. Like, yo, like if that was the person for you, like what stopped you from not going back and like sucking up your pride and like, okay, I want to go back because this the person I was kind of like I was into and I had some fears, but if I have the opportunity again, I would do it. So,
God
you
damn.
know,
It says she's been in a relationship with several men. Like, it looked like she dating Maxwell, NBA player Charlie Villanova. Hold on, it was a long ass list. What's good, Wally?
What's going on, guys?
Wale.
Yes,
You know, there's a Haitian proverb like, you still look good the way you are because God has a plan to marry you off, and you're not running away from that plan.
All right, so here's the past relationships. They don't. So it says from 2005 to 2008, she was with Larry Johnson, football player, Andre Leon, Charlie Villanova, 2008, 2009, Quentin Richardson, 2009, Maxwell, 2014. And it says she's currently single right now. So like you said, definitely a lot of high earning dudes that was in that mix. So yeah,
So who's she's engaged to? I wonder.
It doesn't really say, man, because like there was a list of them. So yeah, they lumped them in together.
Yeah.
But I mean, just off that dating history, it's just like, you mean to tell me like those guys have their shit together? So that's a pattern. We got to chalk it up as a pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, and also Roxy, that's one that's doing the interviewing, right?
Yeah, she in the same boat, damn near.
And she asked the same question. You got any regrets? You got any regrets? You got any?
Oh, okay. Here it is. Her. So Julissa Bermuda's ex-fiance, former NFL baller Larry Johnson. But okay, so this dude, he was kind of I'll say it says he was arrested for DV. So
okay.
So it's understandable she left that dude.
Big time. But where he at now though?
Huh?
Where's he at now? Like what's?
Oh, he's rich. Somebody would jump on it.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. But did you so let me get back to the video then. Give me 1 second.
Or done differently in your career?
Yes, I regret not joining TikTok faster.
Are you serious?
Absolutely, girl. Yeah.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
I know it's in limbo right now. We don't even know if that app is going to stick around. But yes, girl, the way it, and I know it sounds pretty silly, but really the regret is the pivot and like feeling as if I had it all in control. Like, well, why would I do that when I already do this, and like, I don't need to do. And it's like, no, moving with the times and figuring out how you can pivot in a way that still feels good to you. And you're not, my thing, and maybe I have to work on this, is this thing about like, selling out. Mm-hmm. And I just was like, how am I going to show up on this now too? Like, I don't even know what to do. And meeting the challenge versus like shutting down. And it just, yeah, girl, I know that's probably what the last thing you were thinking I was going to say, but I don't have that many regrets in life, to be honest. Yeah, that. And I guess I will say, but again, I was young and I went about things kind of sometimes in a very hard-headed way. So I do have some regrets on how, I don't know if you would necessarily say like burning bridges, but where I didn't feel like, where I was advocating like way too much for these things that I thought were so important to me, that instead of just kind of relaxing, letting my guard down and coming from a place of, okay, well, let me take this feedback and work on something so that I'm not showing up, and a producer feels like, I can't work with this girl. Mm-hmm. She's like too stuck in how she wants to show up and represent so much. Mm-hmm. So I guess because I was born in DR and then raised in the States, you kind of feel like you just always want, like whenever I go back to DR, I always feel like, dang, am I Dominican enough? Or like, am I, that thing with your culture where you feel like you have to just have the balance of knowing everything about your culture, but then everything about here. And then it's like, it's so many things. And it's like, you know what, girl, just show up as you.
Exactly.
So what you get from that last part, man? I'm going to Wally first on that last segment, because I sense some hard-headedness and some insecurities.
Yeah, she's doomed to be gloomed.
Yeah, that was revealing, because it's like, man, if you sitting there, you an actress and you messing up the money, so you definitely was tormenting them dudes in them relationships, because typically females they'll like know how to balance it at their job. So it's like, you fucking that up, and you definitely difficult to deal with. So
yep. And then threw her culture underneath the bus. Like, when I'm going to Dominican Republic, I don't feel I'm like Dominican enough. What that has to do with you not following direction on set?
Yeah, it's like, what's I got to do with you being hard-headed?
Right.
And not playing your role.
We don't claim her. For real. That's like an Erica Mena, man.
That's what I was thinking. She was sounding like her too and looking like her.
Yeah. But what
she only just not too loca for that. That's the only main thing.
Yeah, she ain't as crazy. Like, she seemed a little more stable. Like, her issue was just like, I could tell from her.
She ain't there. She ain't there, Stan. She ain't there.
Yeah, it seems like Julissa, she's probably just a little controlling and, like I said, hard-headed. But yeah, Erica Mena, that's a whole nother zip up. That's that's craziness sprinkled on top.
I'll just say, honestly, she's. I don't want to say this. It just like certain people that say, like, just by what I've heard so far, is like certain people like that is just like, I was like, I had fear moment. I had a moment of fearing that I miss out, and it's like, oh well, I'm here now, so it's like, oh, I don't care. But you care, you care, but it's too late. But you care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's the thing about people's, like, this is one of the top things that you wanted out of your life, but then here's the thing, you knew you choose a career and out of everything, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna get no better than this. So it's like, what else can I do?
But she said something that was very telling though. When she said, I didn't take the feedback, I took it like, okay, we're not talking about your job. We're talking about your relationships. And then she covered up, well, the director, I'm like, nah. When you said like I can't take the feedback, and I'm like, and I ruin opportunities, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I think it was a little bit both mixed in, like you said. I think it because, like I said, it typically ties in with each other. So yeah, I caught that too. I was like, oh shit, okay, here's the answer to your problems. You standoffish,
arrogant.
So basically, standoffish, insecure, that leads to arrogance. You're not easy to work with. So if you can't really handle the bag that well, and people don't want to work with you, that speaks high volumes. And then the fact that because now you want to put your culture in the mix to try to excuse bad behavior and poor decisions, like the Dominican that she is, okay, you're only just dodging accountability. That's all it is. Like when to simplify everything, whenever women are tap dancing, tiptoeing around, it's all because they just don't want to hold themselves accountable for mistakes that they feel like they made or mistakes that they actually made. Whether it be not having kids, which is like it's your choice. I want to call it a mistake, but if you look at it that way, you gotta hold yourself accountable to like why you didn't have those kids when you had those opportunities, and you still have opportunities to have kids if you want to. There's always going to be every scrub on the lineup that's going to want to impregnate you. But it's your choice, your body, your choice, your mindset, your bag, your money. It's the way how you handle things.
Yeah, she definitely got options, man. Just even her dating pass. It's like, man, she had some dudes that had their shit together.
She had options.
Yeah, she did. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
she fucked them up.
Options.
She said like, I didn't take feedback.
Yeah, that's the issue.
I should have. I'm like,
that's my thing. You didn't have options. If you can't take feedback, how can I have options?
But it gave
they just don't stick around because like the issue with a female like her is just like the guys that she was aligning with are not going to tolerate shit either. So she probably needed to be with a dude that was like in business or something that didn't have that celebrity status. He was infatuated. That's who she should have been with. But she wants to go for the guys that's like got that status and stuff. So when she's sitting there, she won't take no feedback. She's a little combative. They like, I'm out of here. So that's the issue.
But that's what I'm saying.
I kind of see what you're saying. So like, even though she got the guy, she's for what she wants.
Because she can, just because you can just get them there doesn't mean you can actually keep them there. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
I got you.
Really have
retention. Yeah, she can't retain a guy.
If she want a guy,
she also said something that was also telling when she said that she was always like trying to prove herself or overly advocating and representing herself. And I took that as like, is that talk we had before where everybody feel that everyone's supposed to have unconditional love for them, but you don't have the understanding of others. And I'm wondering, like, when are people going to wake up that people don't have unconditional love? There's going to be conditions. We have to let go of that idea of unconditional love in relationships. You're not their child. I don't get it. Why would you come in a relationship and think you're going to run things over and be a complete horrible person? And for them to prove their love to you, they have to accept it. And no, that's not the best version of yourself. That's the worst.
Yeah. But my thing, Stan, is like, if you want that, you have to have enough awareness of like, I can't go for the top guys. that's my whole thing, man.
Woo!
Because that's the issue with a lot of them. They want that type of treatment. They want that one-sided love, but it's just like, I want it from like this guy that got options. So it's like almost like they think like a guy, like I read the list who she was with, but it's like, okay, this guy, it's almost like they're blind to see like that dude has options also, and he ain't gonna tolerate it. So yeah, that's where the delusion kicks in, because it's like, you got a non-famous guy that was like infatuated by you, like, yeah, he'll do that. He'll chase you around, man. He'll probably be looking at his phone all day waiting for your, but you can't go for the top thinking that that's gonna happen. So I think that's what fucks up a lot of famous women, man, honestly.
That's
they
deep.
want that type of treatment from like guys that are like attractive, got the money, status, and them dudes like, man, we ain't about to. They were like, bye, click. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the issue. So yeah, Wally's kind of right when he's talking about, yeah, they don't have the options, because it's like that limited pool of dudes that they want. They delusional about how those dudes is gonna be like sitting around chasing them and kissing their ass, because they got business to do. They're competitive by nature if they reach that top. So yeah, they just ain't grasping it.
You know, there's something I wanna add on to that, because that's a good breakdown on what you guys are talking about. And maybe like somewhere, maybe like in a future live stream, I want to kind of get back into the psychology of things, because in human nature, and here's the thing, most guys think that, well, you gotta be highly super successful in order for you to have that mindset to just tell women no. But you don't really, but you could start now while you're still working and building that process up for yourself.
Yeah.
So the thing is, mentally, okay, and I don't know I don't know if it was you guys or somebody. Somebody told me something that women, no, I think it was Dane, but women like men to tell them no or something. I'm paraphrasing super hard, but again, it could have been someone else that said that. No, actually, it was probably Bunker. That wasn't Dane. It was probably Bunker that said something in one of the last live streams. And I kind of thought about it. I was like, most of them like to like feel rejected, even though as much as I would say women hate rejection, which they present themselves like they do, but when they get rejected, they want to keep coming back. And so why I'm saying this is because you find these guys that have so many options, so many women that they could choose from. Now they have the equal mindset like how a woman would have. So they don't mind discarding you if you're acting up. So when you're used to a whole bunch of men fighting for your love for them, and you're not used to seeing a guy that's like, and he don't even have to like be good looking. He could just be the guy that have enough balls to just say, okay, I'll pass or next or whatever. And now you feel like the game is on. You gotta compete. Or God forbid, like if another woman comes along and then she becomes your competition. Look, man, that's how I get my free meals, like, for the day. So that's all I'm just going.
No, I see what you're saying, because yeah, I think leadership is just an attractive period. I know people throw that term around and shit, but I think a guy that could say no, that stands firm on business and like his standards and principles, and don't let people run over him. I think it's gonna naturally intrigue a lot of females, because they're gonna be looking at it like, damn, why isn't he like thirsty like everybody else? And then okay, he's successful because he's disciplined and he don't budge. He don't allow people to pull him off his like square and stuff. Because if you look at a lot of guys, honestly, that don't make it or ain't successful, it's typically because they'll get distracted by a female. A female be like, hey, let's go over here, let's do this. Guy drop everything and just go there. So like if you look at most people, man, you'll just see like if they'll be like, man, I have business plans, but I got with my girl, and I was looking at one comedian. He was like, man, you know how many funny guys I knew, but just got like in relationships and got pulled away from like doing their thing. So it's just, that's always the answer. So females, when they see that successful guy, that's like, hey, I'm going forward. You could get on board. If not, this is how I'm gonna do things, it is attractive to them. They are kind of curious because they're like, damn, every other guy I've been with, man, he done fold, he did everything I did, and I'm bored with that shit. So it's like that challenge to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually they do get bored of that too because they're like, this dude don't never cave and shit. So so they do go back to the simps. So
see,
Yeah,
that's
it's a
science
bar
right
for
there in the
everything.
mind.
yeah.
I'll just put it like this. I'll give it just some light game or whatever. Always have a balance for everything. Meaning that sometimes, okay, like let's say you're that type of dude where maybe women are chasing after you. And most of the time they're chasing after the time and your attention and all. Sometimes it's okay to kind of feed them a little bit. Just put up with it. Have like a couple of conversations. Make them feel good about themselves. Damn.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking. Just fuck all that.
I'm just joking. Go ahead. You could.
Just give them the time what they want, and then you go on to the next. They'll be satisfied for at least a good 24 hours, and then you could go back home to their husbands or whatever. Put up with them.
Shit.
No, I just think, man, you got to manage some expectations. You got to be who you are, and you got to disclose that up front. Like, look, I'm busy. This is what I do. When y'all talking, y'all go out, and you're like, man, you're welcome to come and be part of this. But like, if I'm say like right now, we shooting a live, like, hey man, you can come over, but I got we do our recordings at this time, so you can chill out at the house until I'm done. But they have access to you, so you just can't let people pull you from that stuff. But like when you do have downtime, like, hey man, you wanna go hang out, but yeah, you let them know your schedule and stuff like that, and you're like, look, I don't budge like from that. What you shaking your head for, Stan?
If I got some free time, it's time for me to meet somebody brand new.
Oh, you said you out here hoeing it, huh? Shout out to Stan.